When Opel announced in late 2016 that they'd be badging all their SUVs and crossovers with an X from there on out, it was a clear indication that the company was no longer just about building fantastic hatches. Understandably, they wanted a bigger share of the growing appetite for crossovers and SUVs. And 2 years later, they're hoping this is lucky number 3. It's called the Grandland X, and it completes the trio with Mach-E X and Crossland X that Opel is hoping will make up around 50% of their volume. This, though, is the first time the German brand has played in the so-called SUV C segment, or cars between 400 and 600,000 rand. And it's up against some stiff competition. Around 2,500 vehicles are sold in this segment a month in South Africa, so hopes are high for Grandland X to take a big bite out of that. On the outside, it's already grabbed my attention. This is one of the prettiest SUVs in the segment, in my opinion, yet it still manages to be handsome at the same time. It's got the signature wing-like elements in the headlamps and that Opel crease on the bonnet to give it the family face. Around the back, the lights are very Astra, which is no bad thing, and for me works in bucket loads. The only car possibly better looking in the segment is the Peugeot 3008, with which it incidentally shares a platform, thanks to the buyout of Opel by PSA in 2017. But this is not just a pug in a lightning bolt. While it does share the 3008's 1.6-litre turbo engine, this car is wider, longer and weighs quite a lot less. In fact, Opel tells us it comes in 100 kilos less than its closest German competitor. That was one of the key targets for Grandland X, weight saving to improve efficiencies. I'm not sure how much difference it's really made, with the car claiming a 7 litre per 100 kilometre fuel consumption, although our real-world stat was closer to 10. But it feels light enough on its feet. Riding on 17 inches as standard, the Grandland has all the solidity I loved in the Mach-E, but felt was missing from the Crossland. It feels all German in the way it's engineered. The ride is still a little firm for my liking, but other than that, it's a real pleasure to drive as far as SUVs go. That could also be partly down to the ground clearance of this car, which sits just over 120 millimeters. Compare that with a Peugeot or a lot of other SUVs that sit closer to 200 millimeters, and that explains why it feels more car-like to drive. And I guess why not? I mean, SUVs hardly ever go off-road these days, and you've still got the elevated seating position. The Grandland's 121 kilowatts and 240 newton meters are more than sufficient, and mated to a 6-speed auto, it's perfect for both around town and open road. All 3 models on offer in South Africa have the same drivetrain, with only the spec level influencing the price difference. This is the mid-spec Enjoy model that we're driving, and at 465,000 rand, it's really well spec'd. I've got a leather steering wheel with cruise control, which is standard across the range. There's park assist, hill start assist, 6 airbags, Apple CarPlay, lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition, and this 8-inch infotainment touchscreen. Very impressive. That comes standard with navigation in the top spec model, which is priced at 560,000 rand. Our test car also has the optional extra of heated seats and this great panoramic sunroof. It may not sound like anything out of the ordinary, but compared spec for spec with competitors like Tiguan and Cougar, it starts looking like great value. Its Peugeot sibling, however, does offer a little more, and at a cheaper price in a far more appealing wrapper. There's nothing that competes with a 3008 when it comes to interiors, even at double the price, but the Opel does a decent enough job. Everything's easy to use, there's ergonomic thought behind it. You can use this little lip here to rest your hand while you use the touchscreen. Seats are comfy and there's nothing too distracting. At the back, it's roomy and comfortable, and the flex-fold seats are easy to flip forward in a 60-40 split to expand on the very respectable 514 litres of boot space. There's also a double floor if you want to hide some of your stuff from view, and the top-spec Cosmo model has hands-free boot opening with a wave of your foot. Opel cites the Grandland X recipe as comprising elevated seating, efficient powertrains, low weight, space for 5, top tech and a sporty SUV design. Well, they've certainly hit the mark on all of those counts, and there's really only one reason I can think of why a potential buyer wouldn't add this to their shopping list, and that is future of the Opel brand in South Africa. Well, obviously at the press conference for Grandland X, Opel was very keen to share some of the successes in the first 120 days since they took over distributorship in South Africa officially in January. The sales trend is positive. 35 dealers have been appointed, and Opel Finance has been launched. They've also been busy with upgrades to the Opel corporate identity at those dealerships, and they're bullish about their future here. With a 5-year 90,000 kilometer service plan and 5-year 120,000 kilometer warranty, Opel SA is showing good faith in its product. The Opel Grandland X is a really attractive car to me, not just to look at, but also to sit in and to drive. And taken spec for spec against its wide array of competitors, I would certainly put it in the top 3 cars I would recommend in this price category. Lucky number 3 for Opel, indeed.